Hello, everyone. I am Cece Schatz, and you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and you're listening to the Going Solo with Cece show. And of course, a lot of you know, if you don't, we are on GoingSoloMedia.com. That's where our website is. All of our wonderful shows are on there. Our wonderful hosts are on there. And so I hope that you'll take a minute and join us on that site and look at all the wonderful things we have. We have an elite guest with us tonight. Someone very special. And we are very proud to have her part of our clan, right? But before we get going, we got to do our homework first, because if I don't do it, I forget, right? So I got to get it going. But we want to share with you our email, and our email is goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. Of course, you can email me, ask me any questions that you'd like. Give me some recommendations of who you'd like to listen to on the show. And if there's a particular subject, we would love to be able to share that. Also, our websites, additional websites that we have, GoingSoloNetwork.com. GoingSoloNetwork.com tells you everything that we're doing. We've got a lot of things going on, a whole bunch of stuff going on. But we've got GoingSoloNextStep.com, and we just launched a new one, Going Solo Together. And so that has a wonderful forum on it where you can talk and connect with others. And we hope that you'll enjoy that one too. What we try to do is really connect you with singles to really highlight and enjoy your life. And that's what it's all about here on Going Solo. It's not about being alone. And so that's what we try to do, is really bring you wonderful individuals in which to connect with. So we're going to do that tonight. We're going to talk to our elite guest, and let's bring her forward here. So welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Glad to share this work.
Oh, it is great having you. Now, Lisa Erickson, you are an energy worker. You're an author. So I want you to tell us a little bit about your books, but you specialize in, what is it, energetics and sexual trauma healing and you're from the greater Los Angeles area. So I want to thank you for coming on the site with us here tonight. So it's great having you.
Yeah, so really what I do is I teach a lot of meditation techniques and visualizations, affirmation work, really all falling within the field of healing and personal development work. But it's based on the chakras, or energy centers, that we have in our body. They're closely tied to yoga. Anyone who's done yoga may be somewhat familiar with them. If not, they really are a technology, you could say, that any of us can connect with through visualization and affirmation work to really shift and heal parts of ourselves. And I think that is so relevant to the work that you're doing with Going Solo, because in order to really attract the kind of person that we want into our lives, we need to approach it in a very conscious way.
Oh, very true. You're absolutely right with that. So why did you go this route with the chakra empowerment? What got you going into this field of healing?
Yeah, I mean, my first introduction to the chakras and energy work and the idea that we have an energy body was through meditation for stress. I was experiencing, in my prior career as a technology executive, I lived in New York City. I was experiencing a lot of stress issues, something many of us right now may be experiencing for other reasons, economic or fears about illness, et cetera. I was having headaches and stomach aches. This is over 30 years ago. So meditation and mindfulness classes were not as common then, but I happened to find one, and it really just had a dramatic impact on me. It really reduced my symptoms almost immediately, and that piqued my interest to really go deeper into this whole field. And then from there, it really transformed into a larger healing work. Once I transitioned careers, I led a lot of women's workshops in particular, and that led me to really helping women focus on what they could do to heal, especially around sexual trauma.
Mm-hmm. Well, I totally understand that, being more centered, really kind of focusing on yourself. That's really, it's really very important to do that, but also learning techniques, and which I thought was very interesting in what you do. So share with us a little bit about chakras. Explain to us exactly what that is.
Well, and this really comes from cultures all around the world. I mentioned yoga, which of course comes from India, but in fact, cultures all around the world have had this idea that we have an energy body. just like we have a physical body and we have a stomach and lungs and a heart, we also have an energy body that has different energy centers, and they're aligned all along our spine from our tailbone all the way up, actually beyond our spine to the top of our head. There's 7 main centers that I work with in my work, and each one of them is connected to different emotions, different things. Like our heart chakra is connected to our ability to feel love, feel like we're worthy of love, and also to express love. Our throat chakra is linked to our ability to express our truth, but also to listen well. Our navel chakra is linked to our ability to access our will, our determination. So we have all these different energy centers. A lot of therapists use them in terms of helping people access different emotions. And part of working with your chakras is healing blocks that you may have to being your fullest self in one of these areas. And this is another tool for helping to heal those blocks and shift into, I would say, a new vibration. That may sound too woo-woo, but a new you, really, that will attract the kind of person you really want into your life.
That's wonderful. You know, there's so much we can do to really help ourselves to being able to heal, being able to do, different things. I think meditation, all of that is so very important. And then have someone like yourself to help guide you, work through some of the issues that you're feeling. Because so often we don't really know what's going on in our world. You know what I mean? We just know something's not right, and we're not happy, and we're not moving forward. We have anxiety issues. We have certain things like that. And so it's really important to be more in tune, not only with ourselves, but also reach out to a professional like yourself to help them get through. So is there any particular tips or anything that you can give those that might be, struggling a little bit right now, or maybe want to embark a little bit more on, getting more centered?
Mm-hmm. Well, from a stress management perspective, which I think is one of the biggest issues right now, from a stress management perspective, really focusing on your breathing, even if you can only do that for a minute or 2 a day, or whenever you are feeling triggered into stress, one of the things that you can do is elongate your exhale. Breathe in, hold it for a second, and then elongate the exhale. And that's been scientifically proven, even just that, to sort of lower your stress point, lower your production of cortisol and endorphins. From there, for someone interested in working with the chakras, what I often recommend and guide people through is focusing on what's called the root chakra. It's at our tailbone. It's really linked to our ability to stay present in our body in a way that feels safe. So when we're feeling stressed, we're not feeling safe in some way. Something has triggered us into anxiety. We're usually spinning in our head, and we become less and less effective at dealing with the situation, right? So root chakra, that first chakra work, the first of the 7 chakras, is what I would often guide someone through. And what I try to do in my book, that's the very first chapter, actually, is the root chakra and chakra empowerment for women, to help people, first of all, connect to that feeling of safety in your body, which is kind of the foundation for anything else that you want to do.
Now, your book, the Chakra Empowerment, so will that take us through the various different steps in which we can, so then we'll start with the root, then we kind of work forward or upwards, or however you call it. Yeah, so your book will help us understand that more so that we can kind of embrace that ourselves.
Yeah, it really walks you through, in the first 7 chapters, 1 chapter per each of those chakras and what they represent in your life, like what life situations you might want to really work with it. You're going into a job interview, you need your navel chakra and your throat chakra, right? You're going on a date, you want to open up your heart and your third eye, different things like that, right? So that's part of it. Then the last 5 chapters are multi-chakra exercises that you can do. And what I've done is really laid out steps, a guided visualization sequence, an affirmation sequence, statements that you say to yourself to help connect with those chakras. And then I have guided versions of those in MP3 form on the book website. So you don't have to read the steps when you're doing the guided meditations.
Very interesting. I've often wondered more and more about this because I've heard a lot of my friends. Let me see, we have a comment here. Oh, she's Adele is saying here, it's very long. I'll put it up here so we can,
Okay.
we
Yeah,
can
I
show it.
know.
But
Oh,
it's
maybe.
very long. Elongate your exhale breathing in to hold it for a second, and then elongate the exhale. And that's been scientifically proven to lower your production. Wow, this is really great. Thank you so
That's
much.
me, right? Someone typed up what I said. Good.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Adele, for reconfirming and
Yeah.
knowing that you're actually doing this yourself. And so we like that. We like it when the audience is listening and they want to, participate and encourage. And that's really what it's all about. We want to thank you so much for that. You know what? The thing is like, as we're going through, and of course we do a lot through the transition of relationship loss, then transition of dating, and then into dating. And so there's so many emotions that go along with that.
Yep.
And by your chakras, and I was very surprised at this because I have heard of that before, the third eye and open your heart, but I didn't realize that if you wanted to do like a job interview, you would do a different chakra for that. So I wasn't really aware of that. So when you do these exercises, how long is the period before, do you start feeling something different, or how do you know that you're doing it right, or something like that?
It does take a little bit of practice. And so what I recommend is that people kind of select one or two that they want to focus on, read through what each represent, and you may go, oh, okay, these two are reasonably strong in my life. These two, I can tell I have some work to do. I need to empower or strengthen these energies and the things related to them in my life. And so then daily, just spend 1 or 2 minutes doing these exercises for 4 to 6 weeks, right? 1 or 2 minutes a day. Sometimes it's less than that, but at that point, you'll start to really feel it. And then during your day, you can say, oh, wow, I'm getting triggered. I'm getting stressed. I need to do the root bowl. Oh, I'm starting to get timid. I'm starting to fall into my pattern of not speaking up. I need to do my throat work. Things like that. It sort of becomes a tool that you can use right on the spot, to help you shift your energy. I was going to talk a little bit more about relationships ending too, but we can wait if you want. So
yeah, no, that's great. You're always welcome to talk about relationships with us. That's for sure.
Well, I do a lot of private session client work with individuals. I mean, this is one of the main causes of suffering in people's lives, right? When a major relationship ends and you're making that transition. And I do a lot of work, and I feel like there's kind of at least 3 steps from an energy perspective. Mm-hmm. The first is cutting the energy line with the person, which can take a long time because we often are hoping and hoping and hoping it's going to come back, right? So there's energy line exercises. And I do have some of these in the book. It's in a tool called Web of Light, because we have these energy connections with everyone. So it's really cutting these lines, kind of pulling your energy back into yourself and saying your goodbye to the person in whatever fashion you need to do that. Coming to terms with, if you didn't get closure, coming to terms with that, accepting that, and all of that stuff is stored in our body and needs to kind of be released. Then there's grief. There's self-care for grief. And that's a lot of heart chakra work towards yourself. Then at that point, you're ready to start thinking about moving forward and potentially meeting new people, right? And how long that takes is different for each person. But if you don't go through those prior to phases, you're more likely to sort of seek someone that repeats a lot of your past pain or past patterns, which obviously you don't want, right? So I always try to take people through those first 2 stages first, and then you're ready to say, okay, what's the new person I want to bring into my life, and how do I reflect those energies in myself so that I bring that out? I attract that into my life.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I've often said when those are having trouble dating, and I just want to put this up real quick here before we get on that. We have a Facebook user says, sounds like a fabulous program, thanks. So that's wonderful. We hope you're still listening to us. And we really do appreciate these comments. So it really is very nice to have them. So So what I was going to say is that so often I tell those that have asked me about dating and that they seem to be attracting the wrong man. They seem, things aren't working out. They're dating, they're not, just nothing's going well for them. And I've often said, I think it's your vibration level. Your vibration level is not where it needs to be. And so what you're doing is you're attracting those that really are not what you want in your life, because you're not at the right level yourself. And so you need to continue to grow within personal development. And then I'm wondering if it's also this, procedure, your chakras, getting those more aligned. Would you think that would be of help?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what the chakras are. They each vibrate at a different level. And if one is blocked or weakened, then that is not at its full vibration, right? So really, when you're working chakrically, you're trying to open up the vibration of that particular chakra. And we all together, they kind of add up to our sort of general vibration. And what often happens is that although we think we're moving forward, we end up attracting the same kind of person that we did in the past, right? And especially because I've worked with a fair amount of people that have come out of abusive relationships, whether it's emotional abuse or physical abuse. And until you really work on yourself and your own sense of worthiness, you can potentially keep attracting the same kind of partner, even though they seem different, right? They seem different at first, and then it turns out it's a different kind of abuse or a different kind of negativity. And so really, and this is not blaming the victim, obviously the abusive pattern lies with the other person. But in terms of you being able to see it and know that's not what you want, it's really about healing your own feelings of unworthiness and shifting out of that place into a place where you really, with every cell of your body, know that you deserve and expect something else, something new.
Wow, that is very good. It is so true, because I've often heard, and even with my own life, is that I've been with someone that seems to be familiar to me, right? And then I realize the reason they're familiar to me is because they're just like, the past relationship I had. And so that's certainly not what I want. But then I'm able to grasp that. And the same thing with some of my friends, when we have conversations and stuff, we talk about it, and they experience the same thing. And I'm wondering, and from what you're saying, is that really that true healing process hasn't taken place, that you do need to open your chakras and being able to do that. So I really think your book is really spot on here, because I think that when we learn how to really embrace ourselves and open ourselves up, we will have that shift that's happening, that'll happen within our lives. If not, I think the process is just really a long, drawn out process. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it can be, and people will do therapy and things like that. And that can be very helpful in seeing past patterns and trying to shift them. And I work with a lot of people who have done therapy or are doing it, and then they're looking for something else that's more sort of in the moment, or that feels like it's really working to shift how you relate to the world, right? Like, you can go to therapy and really understand why I have anxiety patterns, right? That hold me back, why I can't be myself, right, in a date or whatever the situation is. You can know why from your past, things that happened to you as a child, things that created insecurity, bullying, whatever it might be. But then in the moment, knowing why doesn't necessarily help you act differently, right? For that, you need a tool in the moment to really shift your sense of your own energy, your own capacity, bring forward your confidence, right? So something like focusing on your navel chakra and knowing how to do that actually sends this burst of that confident energy through your body once you've practiced it and learned to do that. It's like almost like a little, it's a shot of adrenaline almost to give you that way to act differently in that moment. So I think that's where the chakra work really helps, is bridging. You can have this knowledge about yourself, but then in terms of being able to change the way you react to things, you need tools like this to really shift.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is very, very true. Well, I wonder if we should take our break now. We'll do just a really quick break. But when we come back, can you give us an example of what to do? Like maybe the basic step for those that haven't done it before, maybe you could show us that procedure of what we need to do.
That'd be great.
Okay, great. All right, everyone, we're just going to take a quick break. You guys know you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, and we are the #1 internet singles talk network here. And our website is goingsolomedia.com. So if you'll just hold for just one moment, so that when we are at audio, it can our advertisers can come in place. Okay, thank you so much for waiting and with us with regards to the advertisers. We appreciate that. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz, and this is the Going Solo with Cece show. And our website is goingsolomedia.com. The first part of our show, we covered a lot. And I hope that you guys will go back and listen to the broadcast again, because it's something I think you just certainly don't want to miss at all. But we have a delightful lady here with us. She's an elite guest with us. It's Lisa Erickson. She's an energy worker and an author. And she's got a wonderful book out. It's called Chakra Empowerment. Welcome back, Lisa.
Hi, Cece. Thanks.
It's nice to have you. Well, the first part of the show, we talked a lot about, really kind of understanding chakras, understanding, our core, what we need to do, things like that. So you're going to kind of help us with the demonstration of what we kind of need to do to start this process. And then we can follow up with your book on some of the other steps that we need to take, because I think it's all kind of a learning process, and it's something that we do over time. And so we're not going to, maybe get immediately, the help we need. But I think that once we grow and we do it and we use the tools, it will definitely shift our lives. So.
Yeah, and I think I'll just start with a very simple one, which is the heart chakra. But first, maybe I'll talk a little bit about the different ways to connect with your chakras, because everyone's a little bit different. For some people, they each kind of correlate to a physical part of our body. So for some people, it's really physical. And so when we do the exercise, we're going to place our hands over our chest like this, really over our heart. And for some people, that physical connection is really what helps them connect to this sense of energy there in their chest. For other people, it's visual. So I'm also going to give us a visual in our chest, of light in our chest, and of both receiving light in and giving light out. And if you're not a visual person, if visualization is difficult for you, speaking to anyone out there, that's fine. Then just focus more on the physical contact. And the third way we're going to use is memory, of thinking of someone that you feel affection for, to awaken this feeling in your heart. And the fourth way is affirmations, saying some statements out loud. So you don't have to do all 4 of those ways, but I like to introduce people to all 4 so they can say, oh, wow, the affirmations really worked for me. Or I didn't like the affirmations, but I really loved the visualization. And you can kind of pick. And that's how the book is laid out too. You sort of pick and choose what kind style, you might say, of working with your chakras you most connect with.
Okay, so can you give us an example then? Do it so that we.
Yeah, we'll walk through it right now. So I invite everyone to either close your eyes or just kind of lower your gaze so you can feel like you're going inward. And then place your hands right there over your chest, the center part of your chest. And while our physical heart is off to the left, as we know, our heart chakra, or heart energy center, is right in the center, under the warmth of our hands, inside the center of our body here. So take a couple of breaths and imagine that the air that you're breathing is creating a warmth here in this part of your chest. And if you are a visual person, visualize a beautiful light in this area, a beautiful white light. Today we'll use white. There are other colors associated with it. A beautiful, brilliant star of light here in the middle of your chest, your heart center. And now I invite you to bring to mind someone who you love in a very uncomplicated way. So usually that's like a small child, a pet even, someone that it's just easy for you to want to hug when you think about them. And see if when you do that, if you imagine wanting to hug them, if it creates a warmth right under your hands in your heart center. For some people, it does, and that's a way of connecting to your heart center, is to then try to magnify that feeling. So far we've focused on physical touch, visualizing light, and using this memory of someone you like to hug or you feel affection for to feel a warmth. You could use any of those, and then you would just sit trying to magnify that feeling for 1 to 2 minutes. You're practicing it basically. And then we can do some affirmations to really try to shift our relationship with ourself, which is part of the heart chakra energy from a psychological perspective. So if you like, you can repeat these under your breath or out loud after I say them. I am worthy of a fulfilling love. I give love freely and openly to those worthy of it. I am able to receive the love and support I need.
I am able to receive the love and support that I need.
I accept and honor myself.
Accept and honor myself.
I am centered in peace and contentment.
I am centered in peace and contentment.
Great. And that's really it. You would sit there for as long as you like, you know? And, I chose the heart chakra because it's very simple. All of us can relate to what it represents, right? The other chakras are related to other aspects of ourselves, our power, our ability to communicate, our insight and intuition, our religious or spiritual faith is the top chakra. The lower chakras are related to sexuality, to our relationship to our body, to body image. And so depending on what you're working on in yourself, you might spend more or less time on one or more of the chakras.
It's very interesting. So now let me ask you, when we're doing this, like let's, for instance, if someone is focusing on someone they love, someone they want to really connect with, will that person feel anything? The person that they're directing this energy to?
Yeah. It may or may not be conscious, but I do believe that when we send this out, it is felt as a loving vibration. And it's so interesting because there's a lot of fascinating studies on prayer and how when someone is prayed for, there are studies that indicate that it actually aids their healing, right? So there's a lot of, and that's essentially what we're doing is we're sending out a certain vibration to someone. So that is one way to do it. Now, in this case, we were mostly using that so we could empower and activate our own heart center. But the other way to utilize it is, send that love out to someone in a moment of need for them.
And so regarding the affirmations, do you have that in your book, like things that you would say so you would know what to say at the certain chakras and things?
Exactly. And then you can also customize those. So I give different options, but depending on what you're working on, and that's kind of laid out in the book, you could make ones that are kind of specific to what you're trying to change, right? The whole point of affirmations is that you say things that you want to feel are true, and you practice feeling them as true. So eventually you grow into them.
Right. So what makes this different than meditation? When you're doing the chakras and it's kind of like a form of meditation, isn't it?
Yeah. And there are chakra meditation forms where, that don't include affirmations and things like that, where you're sitting more in silence and you're focused more on that visual and energetic feeling. And so for someone who connects with that, you can just sit there in silence, imagining you are activating that heart chakra and it's becoming stronger and stronger. And then there are other meditation forms where you kind of move energy between them. It's really the technology, I would say, of our emotions. And then there's some that are more energy medicine based, where you're bringing healing into your body and things like that. So my book is more focused on personal development. So I don't call it meditation per se. I call it activation, but it is drawn from meditation traditions, you could say.
Well, I personally find this extremely, interesting, and I've been doing myself personally, and I know a lot of people, that are in my divorce group and such that have been focusing a lot on self-development, on personal development, and all of that. And I think this is something that we should incorporate in our healing process, because I really do feel it would be very beneficial to be more in tune with yourself. And because you specialize here in the sexual trauma healing, but I think any trauma healing, of relationship loss is definitely a trauma to us, and whether it be by divorce or by loss of a loved one through an accident or just, faith, it's just the kind of the way it goes, but it's still a trauma to us. It's still something that is difficult. And I also think what we're experiencing right now with the virus, the COVID virus, I think that is also a trauma that we're experiencing. People are fearful of their health. They're fearful of going out of their homes and doing different things. And people have lost loved ones. And it's been a very, very difficult time. We're hearing it every day on the news and surrounding us. And some of our particular state or our city now is starting to open up, and which is a very huge relief for us. But that doesn't take away the trauma that we had incurred while we were going through all of this. So I really do feel, Lisa, that this being a more understanding of our chakras and healing it, and maybe getting your book and looking at that and going through that, I think that'll definitely ease some of what we're feeling, the anxiety and everything that we're going through.
Yeah, the feelings of isolation have been very tough, especially for anyone living alone, right? Mm-hmm. And then not being able to date for clients that I've worked with that are single, that's been hard, feeling that's very difficult. There's only so much you can do over Zoom, and we've all become very good at Zoom socialization. And now as we begin to open up, figuring out our comfort level, right, with interactions and what that looks like now. Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety, and this kind of work can really help you center in your body, release those stressful feelings so that you're communicating and functioning in the world from an empowered, calm place, which I think is so important.
Yeah, you're so right. Well, I want to put up your website, and so that they can get a hold of you. Now, you have two different websites, so can you explain to us about the differences of them?
Yeah, so the first website, enlightenedenergetics.com, is my general client website for private session work, and it has a link to a lot of articles and free meditations. Also links to my blog, which has more free articles and things like that. And the second one is Chakra Empowerment for Women, is the book Chakra Empowerment for Women. And although I do focus mostly on women's issues in this version of Chakra Empowerment, the whole first half is also relevant to men. And I have had a lot of men read it. And then a lot of the free meditations on my site are certainly also relevant to men. But this one talks a lot about women's life cycles, like menopause and things like that, and how you can work with the chakras to help ease that transition, pregnancy, postpartum, all those kinds of things, in addition to sexual trauma.
Yeah, well, I think that's so very important. And I like the idea that, the chakra empowerment itself can be for both sexes. It's something that I think we all need, and we could definitely both sexes use. But then also your book is focused on issues that are very relatable to women, And so that's also very important, because there are certain things that we go through that, and I think any guy in our life would certainly like us to be a little bit calmer when our emotions are going a little bit crazy, because our hormones are going crazy. And
and that's it's what I talk about in this book is the energetic differences between men and women, and women, we are very fluid, right? And so energetically, we do need some help sometimes grounding our energy, stabilizing our energy, and especially with boundaries. Big chapter in the book on energetic boundaries, because for women, this is a big issue.
Oh, so this will definitely, I think, be good for them when they're dating and really starting to find themselves, because I think a lot of times as we step forward into this new life of being single, we really don't know what it is that we want, and especially when we're into the latter part of our lives, that last quarter, we're starting to kind of redefine relationships and start figuring out what it is we want, what we don't want. So setting those boundaries is very, very important, and it's very needed. So I think this is really a great thing to do. So again, everyone, the websites are Enlightened Energetics. Is it called Energetics? So .com. So it's ENLIGTENERGETICS.com. And then Chakra Empowerment for Women, it's CHAKRAEMPOWERMENTFORWOMEN.com. So we want to make sure that when we're audio, y'all can get it and totally understand it. So we wanted you to definitely connect. So are there any last words you'd like to share with our audience tonight? Because it went by very, very quickly. And I've learned a lot. And I want to thank you for being patient and really explaining everything so well. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you, Cece, for having me and for being so open. And I think that is really what I would recommend to people is be open-minded. Give this a try, even if it seems kind of woo-woo to you. I think that was really, in my book, something I'm really focused on, and with clients too, is introducing people to this way of working that never thought they might like it or resonate with it. And it's something, to me, it's really our birthright in a way. It's something we can all do. We can all work with these, and it can really be helpful. So keep an open mind and give it a try and see what happens for you. You might be surprised.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. So again, her new book is Chakra Empowerment for Women. You can find it on Amazon.com, and then also go to her website, which is chakraempowermentforwomen.com. All the information is there. And then again, her other website, which is enlightenedenergetics.com. And so if you're looking at doing some, having some coaching done, some counseling, things like that, go to that website and really check it out to see if maybe this might be something that you need in your life that will create more center for you. There's so many different ways to heal ourselves and to be able to embrace us, to be able to move forward in our lives. And so maybe this is for you. Maybe it's something you hadn't thought about and that you want to get more in tune with. And I know Lisa is more than willing to help you, take that step. So thank you so much, Lisa, for joining the show here tonight.
Thank you, Cece.
It was very fun. It was really a great show, and I do appreciate it. Well, Lisa is one of our elite guests, so all of her information is right there on GoingSoloMedia.com. She has her own page. This show will be up there, and also all of her links, so you don't have to hesitate. You just go there, and you can find all of her information, and we hope that you will do that and really stay in touch with her, because we do appreciate that. On her website, there's a way of connecting with her. Her information is there, too, so don't hesitate. Just connect with her any way you feel comfortable. That's really what's important. So again, thank you very much, Lisa. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on again, because I think this is a subject we need to approach more and more. So I want to thank you so much. Well, guys, tonight went very, very quickly. And as you can see, we really are in touch with some of the greatest individuals that are willing to step out of themselves and help you. I mean, they're willing to give up, tonight to be able to speak with you, really sharing with you not only their journeys, but also the wisdom of that, right? And why not, learn from other people who have experienced things that you are going through. They have walked those steps, so why not walk behind them? And this way you really have a great path in which to follow. I think it's wonderful that these people that come on Going Solo really do help and extend a hand. So just extend that back to them, and they'll help you get through whatever it is that you're going through. And so we do want you to know that we are there for you here on the Going Solo Network. So you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are a licensed streaming radio station, along with our regular Facebook and YouTube TV that we have. We call it our internet TV. And so we do have the live streaming. We're on 24/7. So all you have to do is go to goingsolomedia.com, click the radio button, and you'll have wonderful shows 24/7 that you can listen to. Hop on over to our YouTube station. We have over 500 shows on there with wonderful hosts that really embrace, I think, anything that you're going through. And so we want to be able to have that for you. So again, if you guys want to reach me, just goingsoloNetwork@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Please let us know what you like, what you dislike. We would love to be able to bring to you what it is that you truly need to hear. So you're listening with Going Solo with Cece, and I am Cece Schatz, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye for now.